The first money I ever made online was as a freelance writer. I wrote for large blogs, mom blogs. I wrote for places like Cafe Mom and Motherly before eventually I started my own blog. And I had no idea how to create a website. I didn't know how WordPress worked. I didn't even know what SEO was. All I knew was that, I shared a lot of my opinions, my views, my thoughts on motherhood, my thoughts on parenting on Facebook, because Facebook was the thing back then. That's how old I am. And on Facebook, people enjoyed my writing. And so I thought, hey, I can just translate this into a blog. I also was a trained journalist. I went to school for journalism. So it was a natural fit, right? Like, I'm freelancing. Now I'm going to start my own blog. And it was very frustrating. There were a lot of starts and stops, a lot of pivots, a lot of things that I had to learn a lot along the way that nobody really teaches you. But, I wasn't a techie person then. My first website was on Squarespace, which is not an ideal platform for blogging. WordPress is the main place that you want to be if you're blogging. But I didn't know better, and I didn't know the difference. I also didn't know how to build a website on WordPress. Not to mention, at the time, I was still working a 9 to 5 when I started my blog, and I had my first baby. I was overwhelmed. And so in some capacity, I had no business in starting a new blog and starting a new business, but I was just determined that I was going to get out of the job that I was in and I was going to work for myself. And so I started the blog. After I had been driving traffic to my blog, making some sales, I had some digital products, I had some ads going and some things like that. My friends who were entrepreneurs and business owners started hiring me to help them with their marketing. And from there, I really just took on helping other people build their brands online. So if you're starting a blog, the first thing that you have to figure out, and it's the dreaded question that nobody wants to talk about, nobody wants to think about, it's what is your niche? You got to have a niche. And before you're oh no, I don't even want to talk about that. I don't want to have a niche. I'm multi-passionate. Look, me too. I have ADHD. I am multi-passionate. But there's a way to bring all of your passions together and make it make sense. And it's by, number one, thinking about what they are. What are you passionate about? What are you good at? What do you love talking about? And then think about, who are you talking to? The key is to match those things up. It's like a Venn diagram. Here's you. Here's your ideal reader, your ideal audience. You come together. What's that point in the middle where you meet? What are the things that you're both interested in, that you love talking about and they want to hear about? That is your niche. And those things can vary. They can be both motherhood and ADHD. They can be both business and baking. You know what I mean? You can pull them together, but they have to be things that your ideal audience wants to hear about. And then you also have to bring your point of view and your voice to it. That is the thread that pulls it all together. Because I can't tell you, how many times are you scrolling through TikTok and you'll see some random video that's this is for real estate agents who don't want to get sued. And you're I'm not a real estate agent, but I just watched that whole video because it was just really interesting. Both the subject matter, but also because the person telling it just told a good story, right? So if you carry good storytelling, good writing, and a good point of view through it, a lot of times people will stick with you, even if it is slightly off the niche. So that's how I would approach your niche, and that's how I've always approached it myself. So now that you know your niche, you have to figure out what kind of content you're creating. And a lot of this is going to depend on how you plan to actually promote and drive traffic to your blog. So it's okay, I'm writing my blog. How do I get people to actually read it, right? And the way that I always want people to keep in mind is through SEO, or search engine optimization. This is where you find keywords that people are searching for, either in Google or Pinterest or YouTube or wherever it's at. And you're going to optimize your post for those keywords. I might write a post that's how to start a blog, right? So I'll go to Google, I'll type in how to start a blog, I'll see what auto populates that, I'll see what the related searches are, I'll see what the FAQs are on Google, and that'll start to give me an idea of the kind of content that I'm going to create. But also keep in mind that there are other SEO platforms besides Google. So Pinterest, for example, I think every single blogger needs to be on Pinterest because Google, for example, has changed a lot over the years. Some blogs used to count on Google for all of the traffic to their blogs, but the algorithm there is kind of like volatile right now and is also changing a lot, especially with the introduction of AI. We as bloggers have to adapt, and it's what I recommend for every content creator, whether you're a blogger or not, is to have a diversified like portfolio of traffic coming to your site. So that means, yes, we're going to drive traffic through SEO through Google, but we're also going to use Pinterest where we pin images and drive people to our blog. That again works with SEO, search engine optimization, and keywords. But then I would also pick some form of like short term and short form content platform like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, in order to help you build a brand and also drive traffic like immediately, because SEO platforms are more a long game, which is both the good and bad parts of blogging. It's bad because it takes you a while to build up that traffic, but it's great because once you do build it, it's more sustainable. So blog posts that you write now and you're pinning on Pinterest, those pins could continue to drive traffic for years for you if you do it properly. But it's going to take you months, sometimes up to a year, to really see the results of that. Versus you hop on TikTok, you can start to see results immediately, but they're more of a flash in the pan versus a long-term plan. If you want to know whether what you're creating is profitable, there's a few ways to figure that out. And number one is through looking at your competitors. If you have no competition, that is not a good sign, okay? Unless you are literally the leading cutting edge and the first person to ever do it, and it's about to blow up, which you have no evidence for. That's just a guess on your part. Having no competition is bad because it means that there's no market for it. Okay. So let's say that you're a mom blogger. There are a ton of mom bloggers out there, but there's a ton of moms. So there's still a space for you to carve out, even though there's tons of competition. So I want you to think about competition as a good thing and also a way to help you find direction, right? So seeing what is out there in the market and then maybe identifying what's missing. Maybe like you want to be a mom blogger, but no one's really got your exact point of view. Like that would be a good direction to go. Another thing to look at is, how are you monetizing your blog? There are a lot of ways. Number one is through ads. That's like when you go to a blog, there's all these things popping up, like all these different advertisements. Those are display ads. You can also be an affiliate. An affiliate is where you promote other people's products and you get like a cut of the commission for that. You can also create your own products, or maybe you're a service provider and you're just using your blog to develop your authority within your niche. There's a lot of ways that you might be monetizing, and that's going to help determine what your niche is, what you're going to be talking about, what your content is about, and also where you're going to drive traffic to that. So for example, if I am a social media manager, sure, I'm going to try to drive traffic through search and SEO and all these other things, but also I really just want this to be a place where if people come to my website and they're trying to find out about me, they can go read my blog and know like, hey, I know my shit. Right? I'm not just some rando on the internet who decided to call myself a social media manager. I actually know what I'm talking about. And that's where blogging can help build your authority. And while that blog is not going to make you money in the same way that like a mom blogger's mom might make them money through display ads, it's still adding to your bottom line by building your authority and helping to convert people. Now there's two different types of content that we're gonna have to focus on as a blogger. One is seasonal. And it's just like it sounds. It's like if you're an interior design blogger, then you're definitely going to want to include pieces about like decorating for the holidays, decorating for Halloween, decorating for summer, things that are seasonal. And then there's evergreen content. So evergreen content would be more like how to set up a space to make it look bigger, right? Versus how to decorate for Christmas. Those are like two different types of content. One is seasonal, one is evergreen. And these are the two main things that you're going to have to know as a blogger, because both are important and also have different strategies to them. So not every blog will do seasonal content, but a lot of them do. And when you're creating seasonal content, you have to plan ahead. You can't just the week of Christmas be like, oh, I'm going to throw up a blog about Christmas decorating. No, it's too late. You need to be publishing them months in advance in order to be able to promote them in time for the season. Evergreen, though, that is content that is good at any time. So it doesn't matter when you publish it, it's going to still be what it sounds like, evergreen. The name evergreen comes from evergreen trees. They never lose their needles. They are constantly covered and they're constantly in bloom. It's not bloom, but you know what I'm saying. And that's what evergreen content is. It's always going to be good. But even if seasonal content is going to be a key piece of your blog, you will still always want to include evergreen content because that's going to give you a baseline of traffic that is consistent all year round. And so you want to be looking out and creating a content calendar for at least like 3 months. If you're not creating a content calendar that is at least 3 months out as a blogger, you're going to miss so many opportunities because regardless of what niche you're in, there probably are either sales that you want to promote, events happening, there are holidays, all these different things that you might be wanting to write about and also promote. But when you're blogging, you have to really give a good lead time on that, both to promote it on your social media, but also in order to get SEO traffic. If you're writing for Google, for Pinterest, places like that, it's going to take like months for you to get that indexed and get traffic rolling into it. And so at the very least, you need a quarterly content calendar, if not 6 months or a year. Ideally, once you get going, you're going to want to look at like a year out in order to plan your content. If you want a successful and profitable blog, you can't just throw up like a 500-word post and like be done. That's not how it works anymore. Both your reader and Google and different platforms want you to create quality content. And that means it needs to be kind of lengthy. Like, I don't write blog posts that are less than 1,000 words if I can help it, but it doesn't mean it has to take you forever. Okay. We have all these different tools now that speed up this process that we didn't have 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, starting with ChatGPT. Every single blog post that I write, I use ChatGPT to at least outline it and give me a rough draft. Now, I always go back, I edit it, I fact check it, and then I add my own voice to it. That will help make it so it doesn't sound like an AI is actually writing it for you, and you can't trust them yet. You don't know if ChatGPT is giving you the correct information. So when you're using them, you still need to be the expert that is editing it. Also, when you go to promote it, especially on Pinterest, you can schedule pins up to like a month in advance right on the Pinterest platform. So don't sit there every single day pinning on Pinterest. Schedule your pins out so that you actually have time for yourself, because the biggest benefit of being a blogger to me is I call it like a Hobbit Girl business. All right. I'm not a boss girl. I'm not a boss mom. I am a bake bread in the morning and like go to the park with my kids kind of mom. I like drinking my fun little drinks on my back porch while the kid plays in the sand. If I wanted to work 40 hours a week, like I would just go back to a regular job. That's not the goal. The goal is to build a business that fits your lifestyle, the lifestyle that you want. And so if you're not taking advantage of tools like AI and scheduling and things like that, like what's the point? I talk about the Mean Girls method for content planning like every chance I get, because it helps you so much in not feeling overwhelmed. And simply, it's using an editorial calendar. Now, let me explain. You know, in Mean Girls, when they're like, on Wednesdays we wear pink, your editorial calendar is that, except it's like on Wednesdays we post a day in the life vlog or something like that. That's not blogging. Wait, what's a good blogging example of that? On Mondays, I post blogs about social media or whatever it is, whatever your content pillars are. But in the case of blogging, I would love for you to do a year-long editorial calendar to start with. So you're going to look at the whole year that you have coming up. And first, you're going to figure out what holidays are there that you might want to write about, what sales or promotions or things like that are going on, whether it's Black Friday, President's Day, 4th of July. If you're an affiliate, those are going to be really important dates. And you're going to want to be creating content ahead of time so that you can make money for those big sales holidays. Also, if you're a service provider or a coach or you're launching your own products, you're going to want to know ahead of time for those too, because you need to get your content out well in advance of when those are actually happening. So look at your year, write down all those big important events. Then you can start zooming into like quarterly, monthly, and weekly. So every quarter, are there certain things that you want to get out? You know, maybe you're like a bullet journal girly, and so you want a quarterly planning blog with a YouTube video to go with it or something like that. Maybe you have like a monthly meal planning blog. And then every week you're going to maybe break down some other tip or whatever it is. But think about like, what are the things that are going to repeat over and over again, just like the on Wednesdays we wear pink. That is what you have to think about when you're creating your editorial calendar. And then from there, you can break it down into individual pieces of content, and that is your content calendar. So for example, with Mean Girls, it's on Wednesdays we wear pink. That's the editorial calendar. The content calendar is, oh, I'm going to wear that pink t-shirt that I'm borrowing from that guy. I don't remember their names. I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying though, okay? Like the content calendar is the individual piece of clothing. The editorial calendar is the type of clothing, the color that you're wearing. And that is how your content's going to work too. If you can plan that out in advance, you don't have to plan the entire content calendar out a year in advance, but I would plan out your editorial calendar a year in advance, and then your content calendar either quarterly or monthly. All right, how do we actually make money blogging? These are the main ways that you're going to drive cash into your bank account through driving traffic to your blog. And number one are the display ads. These are the ads that you see when you go to someone's blog and they're popping up all over the screen. Those are display ads. You can choose to include as many or as little as you want. However, these are not going to be super effective when you're brand new. Really, to make money with display ads, you need to be driving quite a bit of traffic, especially because these ads are run by different companies, different ad networks. And to get into the better ad networks that pay better, you have to have a minimum number of page views or sessions. That would not be my number one income source as a new blogger. My number one income source as a new blogger was affiliate links. So affiliate is when you promote other people's products and then you get a commission off of those. That can be Amazon. That can be TikTok Shop. That can be, I've made thousands and thousands of dollars promoting other people's courses. Now, the key to affiliate marketing is people need to trust you, and you need to only promote things that you actually believe in. Okay. So what I didn't do was go buy courses with the only intention of reselling them or getting affiliate income from them. No, like I promoted things that I had taken and used and loved. And only after I'd gone through them and seen results did I promote them as an affiliate, which number one, that's like the honest thing to do, but also you're going to be more effective because you can actually show results versus just saying like, oh, I haven't seen any results yet, but buy this. Like, doesn't make any sense. So your own products and services. This, honestly, this is like the number one way that I've made money myself. And the number one way a lot of people make money is through creating their own courses, creating their own digital products and services. So for me, I mostly sold my own services as a marketing expert, as a virtual assistant, as a social media manager, basically doing whatever people, ads manager, doing Facebook and Instagram ads was like my main source of income for a lot of years. So any content that I would create on like my business blog would be centered around those things. But the biggest mistake that you can make as a blogger is blogging for yourself. And this was the biggest mistake I made when I started, was I would just go write about whatever I felt like. And yeah, it was in my niche, but like nobody really cared because I wasn't writing content for them. I wasn't writing content for my audience. I was just writing what I felt like writing. And, you know, as much as I think my opinion is great, most people either don't care about your opinion or they need context for your opinion. They need to understand why your opinion matters and why they should care. So instead of just getting on there and starting to rant about my opinion, it would be better to say like, write an article about, you know, the best diapers for newborns. And let's say that I'm very passionate about cloth diapers. Well, I have plenty of space in there then to talk about why cloth diapers are the best diapers for newborns, right? But if I just get on there and say like, you shouldn't be using disposable diapers and start like, people don't really care about that. You have to give them context, and you need to like speak to people where they're at. So there is the ability to share your story, the ability to share your opinions, but keep in mind why you're doing it. And this is why I am so passionate about teaching people about search engine optimization and keyword research, because this is how people can feel like you're reading their mind, because you can literally know what people are searching for. And if you know what they're searching for, you can create content that they actually give a shit about, right? And it's also a lot more powerful because if you think about like TikTok, you are popping in and interrupting their day. If you are on Instagram, you're popping up and you're interrupting their day in their feed, okay? Versus SEO, where they're literally going and searching you out. They're looking for you. And spoiler alert, you can actually use SEO on TikTok and Instagram too. I have driven hundreds of thousands of page views to my TikTok account through SEO. Okay. So this is not just for blogging. This is something you need to think about for all areas of your content creation. But that's how you flip the script from just trying to come up with a content idea to actually knowing what people want to hear from you. If you want to learn more, if you're ready to start blogging and take this to the next level, I have Easy Breezy Blogging, which is my blogging course. You can grab it at my link, and I'm going to walk you through every single step that you need in order to start and create and sustain a profitable blog without feeling overworked or exhausted. Look, I did it as a brand new mom, so I get it. Like, we have jobs, we have other passions, we have kids, or maybe like we just want to chill and live that Hobbit Girl life. That's why I made Easy Breezy Blogging. All right, friends, I love you. Bye.